Hey guys, this is GamerKat09 and welcome to a different kind of little series segment. I don't really even know what to call this, but I decided months ago that I wanted to do something like this in preparation for a really cool milestone coming up. At least I think it's cool. So for those of you who are unaware, November 2018, specifically I think it's November 8th, of 2018 will officially mark my 10-year YouTube anniversary. It's hard to believe that I've been on YouTube for 10 years. Like, think about that. That's like an entire decade. An entire decade that I've been playing games for YouTube, recording games, editing videos, uploading stuff. It is just like it's absolutely crazy. And I played around with the idea of doing a couple of different things in celebration of this. And, you know, in the past, like, I would make just kind of like little kind of montage-y videos or like some kind of like little music videos, which music videos really aren't that recommended anymore because of copyright issues. So I decided, why not do a little bit of a behind the scenes, a little bit of a talk, kind of reminisce about why I played the games that I played and a little bit of a backstory on how I got started and all that stuff. Maybe some of you guys would enjoy that, maybe some of you don't care. If you don't care, you don't have to watch this. If you're interested, then by all means, stick around and watch. This is completely unscripted. I literally have no idea where to start, so I'm just going to ramble like a very old person remembering the good old days, and we're gonna see where it goes and how much editing this video will get. But so hopefully something good will come out of it and you will enjoy this. If I talk too frequently about something, I apologize in advance because, like I said, not scripted. I have nothing to look at right now. I guess we'll start from the beginning, and that is why I started YouTube. There's kind of a couple reasons, honestly. It wasn't like a passion that struck me in the middle of the night and I wanted to do this, or it was part of my dream, or, you know, anything like that. It actually, in the most basic sense, just seemed like something really cool and fun to do, so I gave it a shot. In the most elaborate sense, I, at the time, was watching other people who were YouTubers, who were developing their channels and playing games and all kinds of stuff. And I was also going to school for video game design at the time, so I was researching a lot about video games. I was, you know, very involved, and I was playing games all the time and just everything. So I was just like, this makes sense, why not try it? The problem with that was, as much as I really wanted to try it and I kind of wanted to dip my toes into the water and get my feet wet, I was a super shy, super nervous person on camera, and I dealt with it the best way that I could, honestly. Like, looking back, it's kind of funny to reflect on like all of the trials and errors that I had in recording and getting used to seeing myself on camera and getting used to hearing my voice all the time and editing my videos and stuff. But honestly, in the beginning, I was so cringed out. Like, even to this day, to a degree, I'm still very cringed out watching my stuff and listening to my stuff. But it was a whole new level when I first started. I was like, oh my god, that's what I sound like? Oh my god, that's what I did? Like, I'd be watching my videos from like start to completion and just kind of like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I use that item? Why did I get killed by this enemy? And I was just very self-critical the entire, probably first couple years of being on YouTube. And I guess it kind of comes with the job, with the hobby. You know, you don't realize what you do and how you do it until you watch yourself do it over and over and over again. And when you record it, it's documented, it's forever there, it's imprinted onto the internet, everyone's going to remind you of every single little tiny fuck up you do. It was a whole different world of a way to see myself and to see what kind of gamer I was and to see what kind of things I did and, you know, things I said. But I was also a natural person. Every time that I played games, I would talk out loud. Even if nobody was in the room, I would talk, which kind of also influenced why I was like, hey, maybe I should just do that, because at the time YouTube was growing more into the gaming community, and a lot of people were very into watching Let's Plays. And Let's Plays, like even the term Let's Plays was something so huge at the time that everybody jumped on board. Every single person jumped on board the Let's Play train. Woo, let's go to Let's Play. And that was it. And some people were very boisterous and outgoing and very loud about it, and I not so much. Being the fact that I was in college and I was only working a part-time job, I didn't really have a lot of money to spend on a lot of equipment or a lot of games or a lot of anything. So I literally, my ghetto setup for the first couple of years on YouTube was a Dazzle DVC-100, a webcam, which I got through school as part of like a college package that I had to use for school. I'm not going to remember what exact type of webcam it is. If I find it later, I'll put it like over here somewhere if I find it. But it was like this round, bulby looking webcam that was just so super big and just bulky and weird. And I used the webcam for my voice. And I had a Windows XP computer, which the Dazzle hooked up to through component cables into my PlayStation 2. And I recorded everything on Windows Movie Maker. And that was literally the start of my YouTube career for the first couple of years, was recording in that setup. I had a little tiny 13-inch TV in my bedroom that I was playing games on, that was hooked up to a VCR. The Dazzle was hooked component cable through the VCR, which I had to turn the VCR on and switch channels. Something with our cable setup what was the reason why I had to do that, because connecting it directly to the TV didn't work. And then I had a laundry basket sitting in front of me, in front of the TV, between me and the TV when I was playing the game, with the webcam to record my audio. So that's why when you listen, you go back and you listen to all the older videos, you hear so much like noise and creaks and just like echoes and stuff. My parents' house had all hardwood floors, so everything echoed throughout the house. You heard everything. You heard people talking. You heard people opening up my bedroom door. You absolutely heard everything. So that was my ghetto setup during college. And after careful consideration, I decided that my first game that I was going to play, like, for some reason I thought I was going to be this kind of like super cool, awesome, professional walkthrough kind of person. Like I was going to make videos in detail about playing games and like getting through levels and like step-by-step kind of tutorials on how to beat bosses and stuff. I don't know why I thought that, because I am by far anything but that. But I decided as my first game to play was going to be Resident Evil Outbreak, which, yes, this is the original copy. I don't know if you can see with the glare. The original PlayStation 2 copy, front and back. Yes. So this was the first game that I played, and if we look inside, it's actually pretty cool. We don't really even get these anymore. There's a whole manual in here, and if you look at it, on the bottom of the manual says, warning, you will be charged $10 if the instruction booklet is not returned. And there's a funny story to even getting this game. This game was a complete fluke how I got it. It was not my intention. I did not seek this down. I did not hunt it. I didn't even really know what it was. At the time, I worked at a all-in-one grocery store, not Walmart, that had a photo center, it had a video rental place, it had like a bunch of little different kind of shops and stuff all in one. And the video store portion where you could rent games and movies was closing. And at the time that it was closing, they were selling everything that they had that was there used, of course, because people borrowed it and stuff. And this was on the rack. This was on the rack. So I picked it up for $10 when they were going out of business. And I've had it ever since. My reasoning for getting this was only solely because it said Resident Evil. And I was very much into Resident Evil. And so I got it, not really even knowing that it was an online game. So this was probably 2000, I want to say 7, because I started that job in 2006. And then I didn't start YouTube till 2008. So I got that probably like the end of 2007. And I started to play it, realized what it was, and I literally became obsessed with this game. So this game was pretty much like my early college focus. I was playing Resident Evil Outbreak like almost every single night, or every other night, or at least once or twice a week, depending on my schedule and workload and everything. And I became obsessed with it. I was like, this game is so freaking cool. This game is so freaking awesome. Now, mind you, if you've never played Resident Evil Outbreak, I will warn you, the loading screens are ungodly slow. So be prepared how slow they are. And you could see it when you watch my Let's Play of it, how freaking long they were. Because I think later on I stopped cutting them out, but when I was editing videos in Windows Movie Maker, I was actually cutting like almost like a minute and a half to maybe just a minute sections of just pure loading, just black screen, heart pounding, little tiny symbol in the corner, loading screen from every single clip that I ever did. But I decided to start with this game because I thought this would be really cool. I could show people how to do the game and get through the levels. I can do like walkthrough tutorials, and I did for the most part, but it's pretty comical looking back and watching that old video content, exactly how serious and yet funny I tried to be during that entire Let's Play. And I was practicing all of the levels for the most part until I got maybe past, I think the hospital, or was it the hospital or the hive? One of them. It was like the halfway point was when I stopped practicing. And I don't remember if it was because I was just so used to playing like the first scenario that I just became so obsessed playing that one over and over, or if the other ones were just so much longer and so much more involved that completely turned me off. But even to this day, Resident Evil Outbreak is a game, even though I started with it and it started pretty much my YouTube career, that I never finished. I, to this day, still never finished this game, and it kind of haunts me. I'm not even gonna lie. It bothers me in a way that here I am 10 years later and I still haven't finished Resident Evil Outbreak. So that might be something to touch on in the near future. We shall see. And the frustrating part about it was, I remember being so involved in videos and uploading videos, and I don't remember exactly what my schedule for uploading videos was at this time. But I was pumping out videos, and then people started to notice my content, comment on it, share it, like it, subscribe, all that shit. And then I felt a sort of obligation, like the more that people responded to watching those videos, the more that I had to keep going and I had to keep producing. But then I hit a breaking point. I hit a point where I got to a part in the game where it was too hard for me at the time that I literally couldn't beat it. And I became so overly frustrated with the game, which when you watch towards the end of the Let's Play of me trying and trying and trying, because this is months, this is over the course of months that I had been playing Resident Evil Outbreak for YouTube. And I was just so frustrated because I would play on my own, I'd never beat it. And then I was like, oh my god, I gotta get videos out next week. I don't have anything, I have to give them something, people are asking for it. And I just felt so incredibly pressured at the time that I just forced myself to try and record myself trying. And when you're recording something for about 2 hours at a time, and then you keep failing it, and there's not like a save point in between this. I don't know if anyone was aware of it, but there was no way to save halfway through this game. So you literally had to play the whole scenario, or if you quit halfway through it, you had to start from the beginning. There was no way to save it halfway. It was because it was intended to be an online game, which I never played it online. And I got so frustrated that I had to drop it and I had to leave it, and I felt so incredibly bad. So that was pretty much my experience with Resident Evil Outbreak. Overall, I really did enjoy it, and I do want to revisit it sometime in the near future, especially if you guys are interested. Let me know, and maybe by some work of a miracle we can get the PlayStation 2 hooked up, set up, and record again, because that would be really interesting. I would love to find a way to do that and try it, because now I'm a little bit more experienced than I was back then, and if I could actually complete that last scenario of decisions, that would be the most glorious feeling in the world. Like, everything would be complete. I could just literally retire if I was able to do that. So the next game on my list that I would like to talk about is also a really famous game, and that is Clock Tower 3. And this game has a really cool backstory to it, as well as a personal favorite in my heart. So as much as I love Resident Evil, and you guys know I love Resident Evil, and I love my zombies, and I also love a couple of other games, this game is also another one of my very super top favorites. I love Clock Tower 3 so much in its entirety. This game I have played so many times on so many different modes. Look at that beautiful book. Ooh. Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. That's a little creepy. Look at that. Thanks for the nightmares. So Clock Tower 3, when did this game come out? 2003. When this game was released, I mean, PlayStation 2 games at the time, when they were coming out and they were being released, you either needed to actually go and search them on the internet, or you had to tune in and watch commercials on TV if they were advertising, or you had to look up games yourself and kind of find, you know, or magazines or whatever. So when Clock Tower 3 came out, I had no idea what it was. I had never played any of the Clock Tower games. I had no idea. But on my 15th birthday, my brother got me that game. And little did he know, little did I know, that the whole premise of the game surrounds a girl's 15th birthday and she's about to be sacrificed. So it was like, it kind of freaked me out a lot when I received this. I remember getting the game and playing it and just being absolutely terrified, like having nightmares, totally freaking scared of Sledgehammer, totally freaking scared of Chopper. And the satisfying part about it is through the fear I pushed through, I managed to beat the game on my own. And it was the most satisfying feeling, even though the game never really had a conclusion afterwards and the ending kind of sucked. But it just was so refreshing to be like, I did it. I beat this game. I conquered my fear, kind of thing. Because everyone gets some kind of notion for some reason that I've noticed in a lot of videos and over time that because I play horror games, wow, you know, you're really good at this. How are you not afraid of it? No, see, I am. I was very terrified of stuff. But now I'm so desensitized to a lot of stuff. So it's not like a shock value as much as it's like a jump scare, and it's just designed to scare you. But at the time, Clock Tower 3, you know, early 2000s, late 90s was the genre of like horror survival just slowly climbing up. Just, I don't know why I dodged that. I was going to say crawling, and then I started doing this, so climbing. So survival horror was literally taking off and just kind of slowly climbing up and ascending to this like level of like, holy fuck, this is scary. But as you know, graphics improved, the systems improved, games improved, stories improved, and the capabilities of doing different things improved. So I think that was kind of around the time that this game existed, was around that time where things started looking a lot more realistic, feeling a lot more realistic. There was, I don't think, a single flaw in that game, that personally. I mean, someone else might be able to point out a flaw in that game, but I feel like the game was just perfection. It was just equal parts, you know, of like a puzzle, equal parts of combat, equal parts of story, just everything. It was just so thrilling and just so pleasant to play. And that's why I chose that game to play on YouTube, was because I enjoyed it so much that I wanted to share my enjoyment of that game. And I feel like I showed more of like a walkthrough side of myself playing Clock Tower 3 than I did with Outbreak, because Outbreak, you know, as much as I knew what to do and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced, it didn't feel as genuine as Clock Tower 3 did. And you can go back and you can watch how I react and like how I play through and how I like just kind of loosen up and talk a little bit. Hence my famous quote, holy balls, comes from this game. And everyone just enjoyed it. If you happen to be one of those people who have been around since Clock Tower 3, you know, share how you feel about it. You know, let everybody else know. Some people that are watching this may not have been, you know, a subscriber as far as that time. But it's a really cool game. If you guys have never experienced Clock Tower 3 yourself, I really hope that you do in some way, shape, or form. Get a hold of this game, get a hold of a PlayStation 2, find an emulator, whatever you need to do. Play this game because it is worth it. It is so much fun and just so thrilling and scary and just awesome. And I encourage you, even if you like horror games but you're not good at them, or if you feel like you're not going to be able to play it, start it with this. Trust me, because it helps. It really does help. And you'll appreciate getting through the game, and you'll feel so relieved and just like a sense of accomplishment that you've conquered these enemies and you've saved Alyssa. It's so great. And then that leads me to my next game, which is going to be the last of this part since it's almost a half hour, is Haunting Ground. I love the cover of this. If you could see Fiona and Huey, it's another Capcom game. I have a lot of Capcom games. So this game, very interesting, this game. I did not really know that this game existed until I got Clock Tower 3, and I don't remember exactly how I obtained the game. I don't know if someone who watched my Clock Tower videos suggested that I play Haunting Ground. I don't know if I watched somebody else at the time play Haunting Ground. Something happened where I discovered that Haunting Ground existed, and I was like, oh my god, I need to get this game and try it. And again, another game that I wanted to do more of a professional walkthrough. As you could tell from what I've been saying so far, is I've wanted to do a channel that was more about like a walkthrough or like showing playthroughs of games, and not necessarily like running around with a chicken with my head cut off, like not knowing what to do. So when I played Haunting Ground, again, practiced the game. I printed out like all of the tablets and the codes and stuff to like use for alchemy to kind of get like certain abilities and like certain, you know, kind of buffs, I guess. There was like this typewriter that you would type like all these codes on, and they would give you like certain abilities. Like I think one of them was like for more protection, or I forget exactly. It's been so long since I played the game, but I played that game so many times. And I had my own little unique nicknames for all of the enemies. The game itself was just so genuinely creepy. It was like creepy to a level where like Fiona was a little over-sexualized in the game in such a way where, you know, when you played it, you felt like you were being stalked. You felt equally creeped out, but you also felt like a victim. And I think that was what was unique about that game, was that you felt both. It was also very similar to the look and feel and design of Clock Tower 3, which was another reason why I fell in love with it. Plus, you got a dog. You got a dog in a video game that actually could listen to you for the most part. There were some times where I think it got a little buggy and kind of screwed up on some parts, but it, for the most part, worked really well. It was super unique. And I remember people reflecting back and really loving Clock Tower 3 and Haunting Ground especially. Haunting Ground I had a super fun time with, but I think Haunting Ground, I forget how many parts Haunting Ground was. Let me see. Haunting Ground at the time was my longest playthrough. It was 42 videos. Now, also take into consideration that at the time that I started YouTube, there was no limit above 15 minutes per video. Like everything had to be like between 10 and 15 minutes long, which was why a lot of the games I played was, you know, so many parts, and the parts were so short in the beginning because that was all YouTube allowed at the time. Now you can upload like 2-hour videos to YouTube and they don't care. But it was a lot more editing had to be done for every single video, and each video would get uploaded in like 3 seconds because when you edit them in Windows Movie Maker, they literally take up no space. But yeah, so I played through the game. I got, you know, I learned to get like all of the endings. I don't think I ever fully completed it like 100%. I think maybe about 90 or 95%, but the game was just, it was great. And I had so much fun playing it, and a lot of you guys had a lot of fun watching me play it. But that's all the time we have for this video. That is my little kind of backstory on these 3 games. So yes, all the games. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about this, and stay tuned next time where I talk about a couple more games. We're gonna do a couple games per video. I can't cover every single one of them, and by the time you watch this, everything will be pre-recorded from here on out. So if I don't cover a game that you want in the future, then let me know and maybe I can touch on it at a later time. But I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you've been a fan since the very beginning and what your favorite moments of these 3 Let's Plays were, and share them amongst yourselves. I would love to read the comments. And I will see you guys next time. So take care, everyone. Have a great one, and bye-bye.